Hey guys, and welcome to a round of 32 Champion of Renown tournament match between the legendary warriors Mofet on the left hand side and VM's very own Crabling on the right. Now both these players have accidentally broken one of the rules, but it is fine as both players have indeed done it. This is an ultra funds tournament where you must bring 3 Regiment of Renown units, and both these guys have only brought 2. Shame on you, but nonetheless, it shall be an epic battle indeed of the vampire counts up against the Dowie, which is traditionally one of the grindiest matchups in the realms. Now, I actually quite like this personally for vampire counts. I think they have a slight edge, though it is very close indeed, but the ability to summon and heal at the same time really does make them one of the scariest, grindiest factions in the game. Now, I'm still waiting for some more round of 32 replays, so they're going to be coming in the form of these videos. The round of 16 shall be out tomorrow on Tuesday in a live stream where we go through all of the round of 16 games in replay format, and on Thursday we have the quarterfinals going to be live streamed, which should be some pretty damn good fun. But anyway, back to this glorious battle, and for the forces of Mofet bringing his favorite vampire counts, we do have Vargeist up in the sky as well as double Fellbats. So 2 Vargeist, 2 Fellbats, not a bad little aerial core, one of which is the Devils of Schwarsthafen. Decent AP on the charge as well, these Vargeist, so I actually quite like this pick against Dowie quite a bit. For the leadership, we do have a, oh my god, a Necrach Vampire Lord. I never get to see you in action. What is this madness? This is so cool. So he's coming in with the Dark Protection, which is a nice damage resistance and melee defense buff. We have Arcane Conduit, Raise Dead, Invocation of Heck, as well as the Purple Sun. This is super cool. I almost never get to see this Lord in action. And boy, oh boy, does his Undead Dragon look pretty damn brutal. Excited to see that destroying some Dowie on the battlefield. For the front line, we have zombies dotted all the way along, just cheap, cheerful. I'm not too happy to be here, to be honest. They're just born into the realms to be destroyed. And then we've gone for the old Cane Wraith tactic. Certainly a little less viable now due to the appearance of the runes, particularly the rune of Wrath and Ruin, but still, hey, very good. So we have double Cane Wraiths on the right-hand side. It looks like double on the left. We have a Black Coach and a load of Graveguard with great weapons, including the Sternsman in the secondary battle line. 2 Black Coaches, in fact, as well as a Corpse Cart. Now, there's a bit of a I suppose interpretation of the Black Coach by a few players I've seen who say, no, this unit is terrible against the Dowie. It does magic damage. It has really low melee attack. How could such a contraption be good against Dwarfs? And the simple answer to that is mass. This Fin has a ridiculous amount of mass for a chariot and is almost unstoppable once it gets going, even up against the Dowie and their magical resistance. For the forces of the Dwarfs and Crabling, I must admit he has already won my heart in the sight of this game. We have double Organ Gun, which is absolutely insane. So 2 Organ Guns protected by double Slayers in the back here, one of which is Regiment of Renown. But then a Thunderers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the flanks are guarded by Longbeards with great weapons. We're in the front line of Ironbreakers, triple Ironbreakers, in fact, including the Regiment of Renown, one of the sturdiest units in the entire game, the Norglin Ironbreakers. Not only do they have a much cooler color scheme than your average Dowie warrior, but they certainly pack a punch as well. Thunderers in the middle, supported by, of course, none other than Thoric Ironbrow, who's going to be bringing all the runes today. We have the Rune of Doom, Rune of Wrath and Ruin, Rune of Breaking, as well as the Rune of Speed. So pretty cool stuff. Double Master Engineer as well. Flash Bomb and Fiery Rings. And I believe in banner rules you can't bring double Flash Bomb, but I'm pretty sure in fruit rules you can. And that's kind of the small changes which make a big difference in the kind of different rule sets that we have here in the community. But the first salvo has been loosed and the battle is underway. Looks like the Organ Guns are trying to aim for the Graveguard at the moment to just whittle down their numbers from long range. Now the Sternsmen do have regeneration. That does not allow them to get back models, however, but still, any HP damage done in, they should be able to get that back not too long future. Thunderers just open up some shots now into the White Kings, not bad targets whatsoever. A few shots into the Cane Wraiths, they're going to love it as the bullets just sail through their ethereal forms and harmlessly out the other end. Organ Guns are really starting to lay a whipping though on these Graveguard. Be cool to see them also switch up to the Vampire Lord in the sky. And does the Dwarves have enough here to protect all the Thunderers? I mean, Fellbats are swarming down. The Vargeist as well are floating around the flanks. Now, the Thunderers doing a decent amount of pressure here to the Vampire Lord. Needs to be careful, doesn't be sniped out too early. Dark Protection actually going down. to counter some of the damage. Likewise, an Invocation Heck on the Graveguard. In the back line, Fellbats just being a pain in the butt. That's kind of their main job, annoying the Thunderers and dragging the Dragonback Slayers out of their defensive positions, guarding the Organ Guns. You can see Slayers are now being forced to fight Cane Wraiths on this flank, which is an absolute disaster, because now you can see the Vargeist as well as the Black Coach can get in and start shutting down the Organ Guns, and that's a hefty investment from the Dowie player, so he needs to keep those bad boys online as much as possible. Grumbling Guard are starting to return to the battlefield. Likewise, the Dragonback Slayers, they kind of got caught slipping, being dragged out to the far side. The Devils do get hit by a flash bomb, though, allowing the Dragonback Slayers to hop on top of them and pet them to slaughter. Graveguard vibing in the front right now. You can see one Black Coach has been absolutely eviscerated. The Organ Guns, 360 no-scoping that Black Coach right in the face, and it's not having a good time. Down to -40 leadership. Does seem to be stabilizing, though, as it pulls out of combat, and both the Organ Guns in the back have been hit by Fellbats. Even with the Rune of Doom popped, I don't think those artillery crews are going to be in much of a state to protect themselves. We do have some Slayers starting to drive back, though, and try to force off these Fellbats, as well as the Black Coach, but the Thunderers taking all of the magical damage. Very close game so far. It's certainly become quite fractured for the Dowie defense. The Thunderers are terrified and running for their lives. Grumbling Guard and Ironbreakers doing a relatively decent job in the center. You can see the Regiment Renown, though, about to get hit by a juicy pit of shades, ripping and dragging the air out of the lungs of the Ironbreakers as they collapse. Looks off friendly fire as well to zombies, but hey, they're zombies. It's what they were born to do. Die in the name of all that is evil. Ironbreakers are having a really good time against Cane Wraiths. Cane Wraiths just don't have the stats to compete with Ironbreakers. Likewise, the Longbeards in the back are doing a relatively decent job. I'm still kind of mixed of Cane Wraiths. I think they're a decent unit in this matchup, but maybe a little bit overrated. The Slayers doing a good job just carving their way through Fellbats as well as the Vargeist. So the Thunderers as well as the Organ Guns are all running. This is a bit of a disaster. Both Organ Guns are running for their lives, one of which is indeed shattered. Thunderers also are in hot retreat. The Vampire Lord now has basically free reign of the battlefield. Big, fat, juicy breath attack comes down there on to the Regiment Round. Ironbreakers looking to be a rare break for them. The Black Coach, one of which is still going really strong, is driving after Thoric Ironbound now, but with those magic attacks up against a Rune Lord, yeah, not going to be doing too much damage. So instead, it's going to just decide to float over to the other side of the battlefield and start rear attacking some Ironbreakers, which is something the Coach is perfect for doing. Lots of negatives coming down here as the Longbeards do start to give way to the might of the Cane Wraiths. Now we have a lovely little pocket of Dowie resistance here in the center. And we still have those Master Engineers. Master Engineers are a huge pain in the butt for Vampire Count players in general, because it's going to be poking at that Vampire Lord all day, every day. To try to counteract this, we do have some Graveguard looking to cleave that little Dowie's head from his shoulders. But Dragonback Slayers are nearby looking to support. White King's attempting to go after Thoric Ironbrow, but Thoric Ironbrow doesn't give a damn about your petty little White King. Heroic Killing Blow ain't nothing but a thing, baby, as he comes with his mighty hammer, just bonking the White King on the head, who's now surrounded by the Dragonback Slayers, increasing their melee attack to 72 from the Rune of Doom. That White King not going to be having a fun day whatsoever. Doesn't match off the magical trickery he brings to the battlefield. He is going to be going down here, and the Master Engineers have indeed been saved. At least one's been saved. Grumbling Guard desperately trying to get their axes to bear on this White King and allow the other Master Engineer to fall back. Now, Ironbreakers are retreating. They have a decent amount of ammunition left as well, so they can certainly do a big number. We do get a big old fat Rune of Wrath and Ruin go down on the Cane Wraiths and the Graveguard, allowing these Ironbreakers just to hold the line, but you can see the Black Coach is certainly starting to be a big pain in the butt. Master Engineers continue to poke up into the skies at the Vampire Lord, who does do a big breath attack down on the Grumbling Guard. A little bit of friendly fire, but hey, at the end of the day, it's much like Bretonia. If you're not friendly firing with your Vampire counts, are you even playing them properly? The Sternsman look to be going down here. Thoric Ironbrow is simply too much to handle. Balance Power is dead even in this latter stages of the game, which is really cool to see. It's been a very good tournament game so far. Master Engineers continue to poke that Vampire Lord to death, hopefully, at least in the Dowie eyes, down to 2,952 HP. That's not terrible, though. The Ironbreakers do unleash a barrage of blasting charges into the Cane Wraiths. Very limited damage, unfortunately, for them. The ethereal status, plus a big dragon flying in, is a little bit distracting, so not performing as good as they should be. Now, it does look like we've got a big fight here. Dragonback Slayers are pursuing the White King as well as the Vargeist. The Vargeist do get up into the skies, though, which is really bad news. We do have a Rune of Breaking go down on the Dragonback Slayers, and a Fiery Ring of Thori going to be coming down on the Cane Wraiths. Oh my god, look at that double. Beautiful micro by the Dowie player, catching out 2 units, making them both start to waver, but they are rallying. Thoric Ironbrow a perfect counter to Cane Wraiths in general. However, he has abandoned one of his Master Engineers, and it does look like that Vampire Lord is going to be able to get his supper that he's been so desperately wanting for quite some time now. He does have a flash bomb on him, however, and Thoric Ironbrow is moving over. Get your Dragon Boutte back here. Dark Protection being popped down on a rather desperate Vampire Lord there. Big fight going on the right-hand side, but on the left, that Black Coach has broken the morale of the majority of the Dowie troops on this flank, freeing up some Cane Wraiths and the Corpse Cart to come back into the fray. Balance of power ever so slightly in favor of the Vampire Counts at the moment. Now, the Black Coach is going to be running over the Master Engineer, trampling him under hoof, and a big problem for the Dwarfs is they have 0 to stop this Black Coach right now. They've got nothing, really. I mean, Flash Bombs and Rune of Slowness are their best bet. We still have 61 Ironbreakers, but the Dragonback Slayers certainly looking quite weakened at the moment, and though you can save one Master Engineer for it, you can't save two. That Dragon Vampire Lord plus the Devils of Schwarzhafen being a big old menace in the night, and the Master Engineer is terrified, and I do not blame him. Look at this horrifying creature, which is teabagging him to death. I would not be a happy ducky either if I was that engineer. Ironbreakers still have some blasting charges. They do want to go into guard mode and actually unleash those on something. They do really good damage, even on top of a Vampire Lord, or even better, the Devils. They don't have much armor whatsoever. You can get some real big hurt on units like that. Looks like the Grumbling Guard fighting to the bitter end. Just 8 men standing up against 14 horrors from another realm. Sounds like an even odds to any good Dowie, and they're really cramping the Cane Wraiths right now, who are kind of struggling to get through the superior martial prowess of the Dowie folk here. Another fire ring does go down on the Cane Wraiths. Looks like that's going to be it for their tail. They do seem to be crumbling at pretty hardcore style. And 44 Ironbreakers is certainly no joke, particularly when supported by 17 Dragonback Slayers. The Devils do kind of get a little bit scared of landing now because of this. One Master Engineer is still alive, but only just. That Black Coach has been such a big pain in the butt. The other one just died instantly. This one, though, is certainly trying to avenge its brother as much as possible. White King does pop heroic killing blow, but likewise is crumbling due to the presence of such a mighty Dowie as Thoric Ironbrow. But the Master Engineer is terrified and forced into a run-in stance, and he has actually been slain now, taking away that flash bomb potential and the restock onto those Ironbreakers, which is oh so juicy and nice. White King is going to be fighting in melee up against Thoric Ironbrow. Thoric Ironbrow, you may think, is a support lord. It is absolute rubbish. He's a melee support lord. He's a beast in Dowie form, and looks like he's going to be able to drag down this White King, who only has 385 HP left. Not too good for him. So we have 44 Ironbreakers, we have 16 Dragonback Slayers, and 8 Grumbling Guard who are still left fighting. What are they up against? Well, we have Corpse Carts, the Black Coach, we have the Devils of Schwarzhafen, still 7 models there, and a big, scary dragon. And that dragon is certainly very scary. A big old breath attack down the line on the Ironbreakers could well be enough to win this game. However, if he starts casting spells in the presence of Thoric, those miscasts could be huge. It's still anyone's game, though. The balance power is like in the Vampire Counts, and I must admit, I would say it is in their favor if they play their hands right, but Crabling is a crafty fellow, and he certainly knows how to play a late game. The Grumbling Guard are struggling. The Dragonback Slayers need to try to shut down that Black Coach, which is just rampaging across their lines right now, or actually just kill everything else and leave the Black Coach, because it can't really hurt Thoric in any way whatsoever. Rune of Doom and Rune of Speed does go down, supporting the Dragonbacks, supporting the Ironbreakers, who now have a ridiculously impressive 84 melee attack on such a tanky unit. They are beating down the gates of these elite Vampire Count troops that remain. The Dragon Lord simply doesn't want this beef. He does have Dark Protection, so he probably wants to dive in and help support right now, but it does look like the Ironbreakers are actually broken, which is massive. The Grumbling God pointing at them furiously. You get your scrawny asses back here and fight like a Dowie, and they hear his battle cries are rallying once more to come back into the fray. Dragonback Slayers do seem to be going down. Only 3 models remaining. Is Thoric Ironbrow going to be enough to drag down these troops? Or some nice Ironbreaker shots actually take down. Oh no, the Devil gets back up again. It looks like he made a deal with the Devil so he could reform the ranks. And the Devils of Schwarzhafen do survive that barrage, buying time for the Black Coach and the Corpse Cart to get in here and do some decent damage. The Devils, of course, going to be cycle charging quite effectively. They are a multi-model unit, so they can continue to do this for as long as they please. Thoric Ironbrow does jump in there, looking to bonk some of these guys from their head. It does look like they are starting to crumble as well, which is really bad news for the Devils here. The Dragon, once again, it does land, but the Ironbreakers have broken, and perhaps for a final time here, the Dragonback Slayers are really not going too strong anymore. They have 2 models left. Mighty Dowie Warriors, the both of them, though. One hacking at a Corpse Cart, the other fighting the Devils, but he gets punted into the dirt, and Thoric Ironbrow stands alone against a tide of undeadly horrors who can cycle charge freely whilst the devils still live. And it looks like, unfortunately for them, the Vampire Lord's game doing some big damage. Black Coach, Corpse Cart, is so many single entities versus Thoric Ironbrow. Now, here's one hell of a mighty Dowie, but that is one hell of a mighty mountain to climb, and this dwarf prefers to go through mountains rather than over them. So unfortunately for him, it shall be a defeat, but a Pyrrhic victory for the Vampire counts, and that does mean Mofet will be moving on to the round of 16 in this Champion of Renown tournament. Unfortunately, Crabling shall be tipping his hat and saying goodbye, but what a crazy Dowie build. I love the double organ gun, triple iron breaker, just bad to the bones Dowie, saying, hey, come get some. Unfortunately, kind of splitting his forces, having them splintered apart, which was good play by Mofet to force him to do that, and then the abuse of the Black Coach, the dragon, it was all a little bit too much in the end. So well played to these two champs once again, a fantastic game. Let's hop in here and delve into some of the good old stats and damage dealt, damage value. Actually, before we get there, if you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and comment down below what you thought of the battle. There is going to be a live stream on Tuesday, which is tomorrow when this is being released, at 7 p.m. GMT, which is going to be showcasing all of the round of 16 games. And then on Thursday, we're going to be streaming the quarterfinals, which is really cool. And from that point onwards, it's kind of like a weekly stream, which is, going to be some good fun. But anyway, back to the glorious battle of Mofet. So, 71 kills on his Lord. I basically never get to see this Lord in action, so it was really cool. 2,568 damage value, certainly not too shabby whatsoever. 71 kills, 11k damage dealt. Beautiful play there, and not committing as well when he didn't have to, but still getting that value where possible. As for the White Kings, 1,794 damage value is not too shabby. Unfortunately, they ran into Thoric Ironbrow, which is never a good day if you're a White King. Zombies didn't do too much apart from die, but hey, that's what they're born to do. Absorb blasts and charges, absorb bullets, and be a general pain in the butt. As for the Cane Wraiths, it was a mixed bag. 485 damage value, 272, 950, and 668. Now, if you are going to bring Cane Wraiths, I do recommend doing it like this, going with a big overload of them. The Dwarfs will almost certainly have some form of magical attacks to force you back, whether that's Thoric Ironbrow, the Fiery Rings, so on and so on. So if you bring a load of them, they can't have their kind of limited magical damage elements everywhere around the battlefield in one go. So you can see some Cane Wraiths were sacrificed while others did shine a bit more. Graveguard, 696 damage value, 835 and 601. Not crazy good, but not crazy bad either. The Fellbat, 620 and 944 damage value. These bats were on roids today, but again, shine down the organ guns was massive for them. The Vargeist got 730 and 1.3k damage value, 73 and 78 kills. Lovely work there. One Black Coach did absolutely nothing, 360 damage value. 15 for the Corpse Cart. For the last one, 1.5k damage value, 75 kills, and still half HP. And these things get tankier and more annoying as the game gets on, so it really could have pushed up way higher if the battle did indeed go on a bit longer. As for Crabling, an absolute Chad build. Like, Crabling's build here has won my heart already. Possibly one of my favorite builds from the entire tournament so far. And it came with Thoric Ironbrow, 1.8k damage value. Really good work by him. Plus, of course, his runes to support with 49 kills. Monster Engineers, 1,997 damage value. Good work on those lads. 675 from the Grumbling Guard. As for the Ironbreakers, just shy of 2,000 damage value. We have 975 from the Regiment Renowned, and then 1,300 from this other unit with 106 kills. It is not every day you see the Regiment Renowned actually do way less than the basic Ironbreakers, but they were also targeted down, of course, because they're so flashy and cool. 830 value from the Longbeards, not too shabby. 780, 460, 780, and 594 on the Thunderers. Organ Guns, 479 and 1,000 damage value, which is honestly absurd when you consider how long these things were online for. That's some amazing damage. One of these obliterated the Black Coach. But that's quite a lot of range to protect it. We have, the 4 Thunderers, the 2 Organ Guns, 6 Rangers to protect with only the double Slayer is a little bit rough. 2,232 damage value on the Dragonbacks, 1,115 on the other unit of Slayers. My god, the Slayers went ham. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.